Right now, we're going to be talking about being able to add integers. Now, when in the world are integers? Well, let's do a quick little review of number systems. First off, we have the natural numbers. Sort of like what you can count. They used to be called the counting numbers because 1, 2, 3, 4, stuff you can count on your fingers. But then, what about the old zero? Well, that's where we go and we include the whole numbers. See how nice? The whole numbers have the whole. Again, not exactly all the numbers that we need out there in the world to live, but we do need some negative numbers. So notice that when we put the whole numbers and their opposites together, then we have the integers. Now that is not all the numbers that we need. Eventually to come are going to be the rationals. That's where we can get into the fractions and decimals. And again, the negative fractions and negative decimals. But that's for another day. So when somebody says integers, that you're dealing with integers, your answer should be an integer, and you get a half, ooh, something's wrong. Again, integers are all those whole numbers along with their negative counterparts. So, first thing that can happen, this is the nicest thing that can happen, is we have a positive plus a positive. You've been doing that probably almost your whole life. The fact that you just sort of keep on rolling, it's just an extension of counting. 100 plus 20 is 120. 57 plus 3, again, you keep on rolling. You're winning money, you're winning money. You have $60. That's a nice thing to have. That's the good news. You're winning money, you're winning money. A positive plus a positive, you still have even more money now. But then there's the bad news, because now is going to come into deal with the negative numbers. And that's where we're going to keep on rolling, but we have a negative plus a negative. So we're sort of losing money and we're losing money. Sort of story of my Vegas vacation with a couple extra zeros on, but I had a good time. So here we go. We got a -3 and a -5. We're going to keep on rolling. We're below ground and we're going further below ground. We just literally keep on going. We have now that we would be at a -8. If you have, and you owe somebody $4, and then you place a bet and you lose another 2, you are now at a -6. You sort of keep on rolling in that negative direction. Basically, what we have here is that whether these would both be a positive 25 or both be a negative 25 in this case, 25 plus 25 is 50, and it just so happens, though, we're going in this problem in the other direction. We're losing money. Let's do one more here. We have negative 120 and a positive, we're adding a negative 36. Those of you going for the partial credit, and you know who you are going to be at a negative. Because if you've lost and you've lost, there's no way you can have money, all right? So the fact that we know we're going to be in the hole, and we just have to add that together. And last time I checked, 120 plus 36, that would be 156. But again, our final answer is going to be a negative because we're going in that negative direction. Now, there are two concepts that we sort of have to make sure we have in our head before we go any further. One of them is absolute value. The fact that when you would talk about the term absolute value, it wipes away the positive and negativeness of the number. The second is additive inverse. Then you need to sort of remember that, hey, a negative and its opposite add to 0. So a -2 plus +2, 0. -7, +7, add to 0. Likewise, if we did this, that's not opposites. See how we're going to have to deal with having a negative and a positive. Life's going to change a little bit, all right, when the signs differ. We're not going to keep on rolling. when the numbers have opposite signs keeps you on your toes. We have here our first problem, -2 plus 4. Now remember, keeping in mind that idea of additive inverses, opposites, a number and its negative, add to 0. Sort of did a little visual here to sort of try to help you out. Here we have a negative and a positive. It's almost as if those two neutralize each other. Because we know a negative and a positive add to 0. Look what we're left with. We would have 2 things left. They're on the positive side. Right. So a -2 and a positive 4, we end up with a positive 2. Over on this example, we have a positive 1, and we're going to add a -5. So a positive and negative neutralize each other. Look what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're left with a 4, but the 4 is on the negative. Right? There are 4 that are from the negative side. So our final answer is a -4. Basically, you can think of the little phrase, when the signs differ, you have to end up finding the difference. Now I'm going to pause for a moment and reflect, because for some people that hurts their brain. You just said we were adding, but I'm not really adding. That's correct, right? When we actually want to add, when they have opposite signs, I know you're sitting down, you have to actually subtract, right? We have to actually take the absolute value of 4 and a 2, wipe everything away, find the difference. Well, 4 minus 2 is 2. And then we take the sign with the larger absolute value, which is the positives. Here, signs differ. We have to actually find the difference. Take the absolute value, wipe everything away. 5 and a 1 differ by 4, but they're more negatives, the sign with the larger absolute value. And then means that we're going to have a -4. So as we start our journey, this is where some people start losing it, because it's the fact of, again, we're adding, because the signs are different, we're actually finding the difference, all right? Just keep saying that to yourself a couple times. Now let's take a look at some. We have 10 plus a -2. The signs differ, so I have to find the difference. So in my head, I'm wiping everything away. A 10 and a normal 2 differ by 8. It's positive because there are more positives than I have negatives. Again, keep thinking of that visual of having circles and them sort of neutralizing each other, those positives and negatives. Here, they differ, and the difference between a 7 and a 5 is 2, but I would have 2 left over on that negative side. You can think of it a lot of times as money, like in this case, -4, I'm down $4, but then, hey, somebody gives me $6. So now I'm going to be a 6 and 4 differ by 2, and I'm going to have a positive 2. That sometimes you can think of it in that regard. Again, here, another example, -1 plus 6. Hopefully you're thinking 5. And don't let it, in fact, if we get into some little bit bigger numbers, mess you up. Same procedure. 18 plus a -28. Some students will right off the bat, hey, it's going to be negative. Right? I have, again, they can visualize 28 on the negative team versus only 18 on the positive team, so they outnumber them, so you know what that final answer is going to be as far as a sign, and then you just actually crank out the arithmetic, 28 minus 18. Let's take a look at this last one. 3 plus a -8. Got your answer locked in? I'm double checking mine in my head. Yep, I got it. It is a -5. 8 and a 3, when I take the absolute value and wipe everything away, is going to be a 5, and there are going to be more negatives left, so my final answer will be negative. My final word, practice. That's the only way that you will gain, not talking speed, but you'll gain confidence in making sure to be able to add integers. Good luck.